Gateway Gamers podcast.
Hey, welcome to Gateway Gamers Podcast. This is Bryan.
And RP.
And this is a lost episode. No, this is a crossover episode with the previously recorded podcast, our partner podcast.
So my other podcast, previously recorded, got me on the map in podcasting with my two co-hosts, Shane and Bob. And joining us today for this previously reboarded episode of Gateway Gamers is Bob. Bob, welcome to the podcast.
What's up, guys? It's nice to be here. This is a different scene for me, not something that I'm used to.
No, yeah, this is not used to podcasting.
I'm not used to being good at it.
So this will be something that happens every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So RP and I will play generally 2-player games. This will be a crossover when we need an extra body around for a game that needs...
Or strategic crossovers,
Yeah.
like potentially with the Jungle Cruise film coming out in July.
Just treat me like a body, guys.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
just
we got
need,
you.
we need a body.
Yeah.
So you are our
I'm
first
just
guest.
just a warm body.
So you are our first guest on the show. So welcome.
It's
Let's
good
do.
to be here. I feel like this is a very NPR style.
Yeah.
from what I'm censoring myself already. That's 3 F-bombs I've already held back.
Yeah.
Just been saying hello.
We already cut them out, so it's fine. So the real reason we're here is to have an intervention for RP.
Yeah, this is not a joke.
Yeah, this is the real reason we're here today.
Guys, I'm fine.
So since we started the podcast, RP has bought
5 games.
5 games,
I'm fine.
totaling over $100.
I'm fine. I told you I'm fine. I'm fine.
So that's the real
Well,
reason
2 of them
we're
were
here.
villainous, right? So,
4
4
of them.
So you're responsible for that,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You're an enabler at that.
No, I mean
regard.
that's
You're
the,
his dealer.
Yeah.
I think at that point.
Yeah, they were on sale. To be fair, they were all on sale except for the one, but I had a gift card. So
If you can get crack for cheap, do you still buy it? Like,
that is the real. Yeah,
that's the way it is, man. It's
You don't get high in your own supply.
they were deals I just couldn't pass
You
up. No
couldn't.
matter,
You
I had
couldn't.
an itch I needed scratched, and here we are.
You
It's
couldn't.
fine. It's over with, guys. I'm fine.
I deal with Legos. I can't even.
yeah.
I can't even argue. So
Everything's under control.
Yep.
My Amazon cart is fine. It's fine.
they'll be
Your
played.
wish list.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, what's your saved for later look
Oh,
like right now?
my wish list is insane.
I have a wish list, but I stopped doing those because I would
Oh.
just add to them and never buy them. So now I just put them in my save for
Whenever I
later,
get a
which is
gift
even
card.
worse.
So
Save for later is just lingering there though.
It's
Like
just-
every once in a while, like I'm buying this. It's only $9. Let's see if there's something else for
Nah,
10.
mine-
Like,
I can't do that.
my wish list is insane, and it's because I'm a teacher. Like a teacher appreciation week just passed, like a couple weeks ago, and I got like over $300
say, you
in
got a
Amazon
good-
gift
good
cards.
little,
Yeah, so a lot of the, even I support local friendly game shop.
But you gotta
I gotta go on
get an
there.
Amazon
If I
gift
get
card, you
Amazon
gotta
gift
use
cards.
Yeah. No, the only thing I have on my save for later list is Jungle Cruise.
What's that running right now?
35.
Yeah.
Is that a? I don't know anything about it. Is that
It's-
a movie game, or is it a
No.
game
More
that
on the-
existed already, and now the movie would just be a reason for
Well,
you
it came out in promotion for the movie when it was supposed to come out, but the
Okay.
movie, since the movie got moved, they just released the game. It's more so based off the ride.
But it was like its release was in conjunction.
They
with the
tried
movie.
to.
Yeah,
They tried
okay,
to,
gotcha.
yeah. But after watching a playthrough, not as interested as I was, but still interested. I do want to
Yeah.
still play it, but not for 35 is steep for that.
No. So, what's your relations with board games, Bob? Like, what's your...
I've played some. You and I have played a scattering, I think,
Okay.
a plethora of games, and then comic book store I've played. It's still some
Yeah.
weird, like just little things, nothing crazy. You're more the expert than I am.
Yeah. So this is your gateway now.
This
So
is
next
my
time,
gateway. Yeah,
next time we get you on.
maybe we don't. Maybe we need to change the name.
So next time,
Right, like if you don't want RP to be addicted to gaming, Gateway Gamers is probably not the greatest name. Like, there's a reason they call marijuana the gateway drug, and like,
well, next time,
That's discussed.
the
Yeah.
next episode is your intervention. Once
okay,
you
yeah,
buy.
yeah.
It's easy.
We never had a Lego intervention, so I just don't think you guys care about what I do.
No,
with
we
my
gotta
money.
wait. We gotta wait till.
I had to stop myself with those.
We gotta wait till previously rebuilt comes out when we have
Yeah,
our
when I do
Lego
Lego
podcast.
episodes.
the Lego,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lego podcast.
But yeah, so Bob and I have been friends forever. and we met Marvel through the comic book store, where we did play games like Secret Hitler or
very
think
sporadic.
Yeah, nothing crazy. So Bob's played some games, and then obviously we've had game days here. We played some stuff, but
That's about it for me.
nothing crazy.
No.
Yeah.
Big one that we're playing today is why we're having Bob on. The game we're going to talk about, which we're not going to reveal yet. But
Not just yet.
yeah, it's definitely one that we played at the shop the most. All
Maybe.
right, we're going to go into some game news because I know one game that I'm going to talk about. Bob is very excited for because it's an IP game.
Is it the one that was on our Instagram?
Yes. That I'm excited for as well. The Goonies game has been announced by Funko and our boys Prospero Hall.
Our homeboys. We love them.
That's it. So it seems like Prospero Hall has jumped to Funko.
So Prospero Hall is behind Villainous.
Okay.
So Prospero Hall is a group of designers that worked for Ravensburger, and it seems like they're working for Funko now.
Ravensburger right now.
A lot of the games that we're going to cover on Gateway Gamers are IP driven and through Target seem to be designed by Prospero
it's
Hall.
just like not a coincidence, but like they seem to be one
They
of the ones
seem-
that do
yes,
IP
yes.
ones that are released through Target.
It
It
seems
just seems to be
like-
them all the time.
Yeah, they
Okay.
seem, and a lot of the games that I like seem to be designed by them.
So Villainous is them, you said.
Yep.
Which I have played Villainous. I do enjoy.
So as
Villainous.
soon as I kind of saw that they were designing this, I was already on board.
How do you feel about Villainous, RP?
As heard in my
Yeah.
elation in the episode where we
12
did it.
minutes in.
That much I have heard.
Yeah, I love that game, and as we said, I've bought 4 versions of the
Yeah.
game since. I absolutely love it. It's so good.
So they announced, when was that? Thursday? They announced Thursday.
Yeah, I think Thursday.
The
Yeah.
Goonies game was coming out by Funko. It's going to be a Target exclusive, and it sold out.
Already.
The pre-orders sold out already in
And-
24 hours.
And what the craziest part of this is the next part of this.
They
the
already announced an
expansion.
expansion, yes.
The craziest part is that they have the octopus in the original game. it
Yes,
looks like.
so I'm assuming that you're a fan of Goonies.
I am a Goonies fan.
Yes.
I have never seen. Is there like I know of the octopus scene. I've never seen.
So on the DVDs, they have very raw footage of
Okay.
an octopus that they tried
to like put back
to
in.
put in the movie. So when they find the ship, there was supposed to be like a giant octopus
In the water.
that like attacked the kids
Really?
essentially. Yes. I don't know why it got cut. I don't think
know
it
that
worked.
this. I've heard of this octopus before. I just have never seen it. and
So
I
one of the
wasn't sure.
pawns for the game
And that's what
is the
I
octopus.
saw the picture
and I
that you
was
put up.
immediately like, all right, then they know the IP.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, they know what they're doing already.
Did
So-
you pre-order it?
No.
I'm just gonna wait.
No, I'll wait. I'll get it eventually.
We have a ton of games, as we
Yeah,
talked
I'm
about on the last
already
episode.
trying to just play what I have, but I
So,
will buy it.
so as we talked about on our last episode, Bob, part of the reason we started this podcast is so that he could burn through some of the games that he had.
Justify the games that you've bought and
Yes,
never played.
to justify my
And
closet
since
full of
starting
games.
this, he's bought like 15 games.
Yes.
Well, you got gift cards though.
Yeah. And
True,
it's
true.
a tax write-off, as we talked about.
It's a business expense.
So the Goonies game I'm excited for because it's known as a one-for-all. So it's almost a D&D style game. So one person plays the bad guys where the other people play the Goonies. So from what I read, it's like I'll be either Peg Leg Pete the pirate skeleton or the
The
what's
the
that
family. I forget
yeah,
what
the
their
family.
name is. Yeah.
And I'm setting traps around the board as you guys.
And then we as a
are the
group
Goonies.
play the Goonies.
Yeah. So there's going to be 9 adventures in the base game. So I don't know what that means. I'm assuming it's going to be like storied scenarios.
Interesting.
And
Do you
then
choose your Goonie. Like, can I play as Data every time?
yeah, you could
Nice.
play Data, Chunk,
Yeah,
Mouth,
they did
Yeah.
have a chunk figure.
Mouth, and then the expansion has what's it? Young Thanos. What's his name?
Josh Brolin.
Brolin's
Josh
character, yeah, he's
Brolin,
kind of a dork
The
in that.
girl, and then the other girl that no one cares about. That's why they're expansion. And then some of the bad guys.
So it's nice to see from Funko that this game is geared towards not children, because there was 2 announcements from them about Disney theme park ride
there's
games
been a lot of announcements. Funko has been pumping them out this week.
that I was excited for and immediately disappointed because they're children's games.
Yeah,
So to see this is awesome.
they did what? Small World,
I don't
Some
remember the second.
Mad Teacup Party.
Yeah, I think it was the Alice in Wonderland.
Mickey and the Beanstalk, which is fine. Make kids games.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. It's just, it was very weird to be like, they have this amazing IP and they're pumping out
Kids games.
these kids games, which I mean, I guess makes sense. Disney is a bit childish, but
Yeah,
if
but
you're pumping them out. But I'm excited that, I mean, Funko's into gaming
Yeah.
business at all. Because
This is recent. This is like a recent thing for them too, right?
yeah, they did the Funkoverse,
Well, they
which
did the-
I own a majority of, but we haven't played yet.
And they did the Godzilla game, right? That's a Funko.
Is that a Funko
it's
as
a
well?
Funko game, yeah.
Yeah, so they're
Which I was surprised to see.
yeah, that's one I would definitely want to play as well. So they're definitely in the business of making games now, which I'm excited for because it's good quality games. And if Prospero Hall's also designing the games,
Yeah.
that's huge. Like I'm all on board. Another one, a game that was announced. These all seem to be coming out in the summer. I think the Goonies game comes out in June. This game, the Taco Bell board game.
What?
Yes, they're making a Taco Bell board game. Ravensburger is.
What?
Yes, so in a Taco Bell party pack card game, players gather various kinds of Taco Bell menu items to feed rabid fans.
All right. So that Bob, welcome. You'll be back for that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're just
I'll
kind
bring
of
my own Baja Blast.
and the box looks amazing because it looks like it comes in one of those like a party
Like a
pack.
carry-on.
Oh, that's
Yes.
cool. That's cool.
So as dumb as that is, I'm on board.
I'm fine with like those silly.
I love
Type
those
of
type of
games.
games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like just a stupid party game. The artwork good for
Blockbuster is
it.
the same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's like
Blockbuster.
one
yeah.
played.
That's what I mean. Like those games are fun. Another one is, which I think you'll be excited for, Gargoyles. Disney's Gargoyles.
I know what it is. I started to watch it when Disney Plus came out, and then just kind of fell off.
Really, Bob?
Yeah.
Bob, you're around the same age as me. What's the Gargoyles? Any?
I watched the cartoons
Okay.
sporadically.
Yeah,
Not like
it was on, but I didn't.
I couldn't tell you their names. I had toys.
Yeah, they're all named after like New York streets. I think. Like I think it's like Broadway and.
Really?
Yeah, it's something
Yeah.
weird like that.
I was more of a Mighty Ducks cartoon guy, which is a.
I
deep
know
cut.
exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Here comes the Mighty
Yeah,
Ducks.
and they had like the spaceship.
It
and
was
they were
very
all-
weird.
Yes.
Yes. It was part of that Disney afternoon.
Yeah.
Weirdness,
Very weird,
yeah.
deep cut.
So they're making a Gargoyles board game. Ravensburger is, and it's
It seems like Ravensburger's got the hook
They're
on
pumping
the,
it
on
up.
the on the Disney stuff.
Mhm.
All Disney.
Funko and Ravensburger. Seem
Taco
like,
Bell is Ravensburger.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
so- What are you gonna watch? What are you gonna eat while you're watching Disney Plus?
Taco Bell. There you
Absolutely,
go.
yeah.
It's a merger.
So it's
You-
another.
Disney's buying Taco Bell.
Yeah,
you heard
you-
it here first.
You thought the Fox acquisition was the Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Which means they're gonna get Pizza Hut in the process,
Yeah.
right?
So it seems like another co-op game. It seems like another story game, like the Goonies. Like it seems like there's
All for it.
Is there,
5
like, a
different
push for that?
scenarios. What was that?
Is there a push for that in gaming right now?
Co-op games? Oh, it
I've
just
never
seems
really-
like
yeah.
it just seems like that's this IP is the huge.
I guess
right
because you're
now.
dealing with teams, right? Like the Gargoyles are a team.
Yeah,
you
so
can't play
yeah,
against.
so it seems like there's 5 different scenarios where you're fighting. It seems like a story-driven
Do you
game
think
again.
but that's one versus all still, or is it everybody versus
Nope, this is
nobody?
So co-op is we're on the same team
But-
versus the
I'm
game.
saying, do you? All right, so that's versus
Yeah,
the game. Goonies would
is-
be one for all. This would probably be a co. This is a
yeah,
co-op?
this is a co-op.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
so it seems like another story-driven type game where there's 5 different scenarios, and then they'll probably give you something to do, and you'll have to accomplish the goal. The miniatures are cool. They're all the miniatures of the characters. So I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
So it's interesting that you've mentioned that it's kind of like the rage right now. But as we talked about previously, the hot games right now are not IP-driven games. Wingspan, Everdell, Parks, not IP-driven, and they're like all the
guess-
top sellers on
Yeah.
Amazon.
So I guess mainstream.
Like from us, yes.
Yes.
But
So mainstream, I'm assuming that Target must have made a huge deal with these companies because
me.
if you think about it, if you're not going to like a big box game store or like a friendly local game store, I mean, you're going to Target or like these. There's no Toys R Us.
yeah, Target or Amazon.
Yeah, there's no Toys R Us anymore. Like, so if you're at Target, like you're walking up that aisle with your kid, and it seems like they're trying to grab the nostalgia
Yeah,
of the parents.
yeah.
So you got Goonies, you got Gargoyles.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone loves Taco Bell. That's not nostalgia, but it seems like those type of games are the one that they're kind of making. There's a Princess Bride game. There's
Oh,
the
really?
Titanic.
Yeah, I saw the Titanic in Target. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it seems like a lot, but
What's
so
the
those,
Titanic game? Did
I
you
don't
even
know.
like look to see?
Yeah,
like,
so I
how
looked
you
it
play
up and it was too much. Not like too much in price because it was like $10, I think.
Yeah.
But
It's cheap.
it just seemed like a lot
You
of
have to dodge-
game.
You have to dodge icebergs.
No, that
No,
would
it's
be
about the
interesting.
people. It's about the people on board.
Yeah, you're like collecting items. It was a lot. Like it's not a game that I think we would have enjoyed. And that's it. I mean, that's some of the type of games coming up that I think are enjoyable
This is a
for
big
us.
like pop culture news week. I feel like DC seemed to be releasing a lot of
Yeah,
things.
DC was banging some
You
stuff out.
said game like a Ravensburger, right?
What DC games?
No,
Just DC like
DC news.
like news.
Oh,
Like I feel like there was a lot of stuff going on. Like it's
yeah. I don't know why. I think some of the Comic Cons maybe are coming out. Isn't that
Yeah.
now? It's kind of
It's
time.
usually
No,
around-
July.
No, it used to be beginning of June is when we would go to
Yeah.
Wizards World. Wizard
Oh
World,
yeah, but the
so-
big ones, no. They're doing DC, DC fandom again this year. But yeah, I don't know. This was just a big week for some DC news for people that care,
Mhm.
don't
big week
care.
for gaming news too. It sounds
Yeah.
like.
For these IP games, especially.
That's it, and they're all IP
Yeah.
stuff. So you'd think that they would wait and like hold those things off for.
I don't know if any conventions are going on though. I think that's
No,
Like,
it's not.
Disney
It's all
does.
Twitter.
What does Disney do?
D23.
Yeah,
They didn't do that last year. That's typically in
August,
August?
right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think Gen Con is the big game convention, and I think a lot of publishers pulled out that, so I think that's why.
There's
Maybe
Maybe,
nothing
just
left.
get the news out there. Just word of
yeah,
mouth
I mean,
type
if they're
thing.
not announcing them at these conventions, just
Yeah, Funko releases their news on Instagram.
Funko doesn't care.
yeah,
Yeah.
Funko has enough
No
money.
rules for Funko.
No. All right, so that was the rest of the news.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, so you want to get into our game?
Absolutely.
All right.
Drum
Drum
roll.
roll, please. And it is upside down. It is Paul Peterson's Smash Up.
Smash Up. So this is known as the Big Geeky Box.
Bob,
This
have you
was-
ever heard of this game before?
This was I have because this was a comic book store game.
Yep, this is one we used to play all the time, which is why.
Did you play it at the comic store?
With Marvel. Yes.
All right, I've never played this.
Yeah.
So,
No, this was one that Marvel would bring a lot, and it would get like shot down if there were too many people. I feel like.
Yes. So
and then
that's-
once there was like 3 of us sitting around, or like maybe 4
Mm-hmm.
of us sitting around, he'd bring it back onto the table. Like, all right,
was-
smash up time, boys.
it was 2 to 3 is the
so
sweet spot.
I know a little bit about this, but what I'm looking at a box with a bunch of different crap on it. There's pirates, there's zombies, there's werewolves, there's aliens, and I do know that we have a Marvel expansion for this too
Yes.
that you brought to here with you today. It's not on the table, but I do know you brought that.
Yeah, so I figured this would be a good one because it's 2 podcasts.
Okay,
Smashing up.
that's a good idea.
It's like it's just like the kind of game. So, as you said, it's designed by Paul Peterson. Plays about 45 minutes. It came out in 2012, the base game.
Okay.
They've made expansions, multiple expansions for it, which is in this giant box that I have. This is a bigger box than usual because it has
The expansions.
a lot of expansions in it.
So is the Marvel expansion that you brought today? Is that like the first like IP expansion that they've had?
No, they had a Munchkin one. They made a
Like
that
from the
game
Wizard of
Munchkin.
Oz?
No,
Or the game
The
Munchkin?
game Munchkin. They made a Munchkin expansion, which I don't have.
and
Interesting.
then a lot of the things in this game are just like knockoff IP.
Yes.
expansions.
Yep. A lot of them are parodies. So, yeah. So they have
like there's
Indiana
pirates.
Jones and,
But they have like Power Rangers,
Yeah.
but they're not Power Rangers.
yeah,
They
Yeah.
have-
and then they
But there is a Power Ranger Smash Up coming out, right?
no, it's a parody of it.
Oh,
yeah.
it
Oh,
is.
that's
Oh,
what's
well,
coming
yeah.
out. That's not out yet.
No.
All
Oh,
right.
it is out. I just
Okay.
gotta get it yet.
All right.
They have a Game of Thrones
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
They have a Star Wars one. They're called like Star Knights.
Yes.
No,
Star
okay.
Knights.
And instead of the Force, they use the fours. Their symbol is like 4 fingers up.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other parody. They have like an Indiana Jones one. They're like explorers.
I know there's pirates on there. Supposed to be like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, they have like a time traveling team, which are like a parody of like Doctor Who.
It looks very cool.
It is.
It looks very cool.
It's fun. The base game goes for about $35. Like I said, this box has. I think at this point I have probably 6 of the expansions
Oh wow. Okay.
because it is. They just add to the game. Like it doesn't.
yeah.
I don't think I've ever. It's hard to play the same game twice.
Yeah. So there's.
Because you're gonna smash up two.
Yeah,
different
we're gonna
things
talk about
with
how
it.
many combinations there are. At this point, I don't know if there's a number off the top of my head how many you can combine, but
Oh,
when we come back, we'll talk about how the game kind of plays, and you'll see why it's called Smash Up and just a different idea of how many combinations.
it's a cool idea.
Yeah, it is. So the back of the box, unfortunately, not.
So
because-
no back of the box.
back of the box
No back of the
segment this
box. All right.
Yeah,
You want to go play?
absolutely. All right, we're back.
Yeah, we're back. We're back from Smash Up.
I survived.
Yeah.
You won.
Well, I didn't want to spoil it.
So we only played one game. We usually play 2 games of whatever we're kind of reviewing, but that took so long. That
It was
we only
a
played one.
Yeah, we put mashup music on in the background because
Yes.
it fits Smash Up. And how long was that video?
Too long.
It
And
was like
it
42
stopped.
minutes
I think
or
it was
something
like 40
like that.
minutes,
and
and
then
we
we
went past
we
it,
were still
so.
playing. So
So typically, I come up raving about a game or have good things to say about this. I didn't care for this.
Yeah, I like Smash Up. I don't know. 3 players just didn't work.
Why I didn't like it. The gameplay was too long. I felt like I was not doing anything for long periods of time, which you're adding in another player. So that obviously slows things down. But I think with like Villainous or the Pokemon, my brain was constantly going. And with this, I was kind of like, okay, I'm just waiting because I knew what my next move was going to be. But also, I wasn't getting the best cards. So I mashed up the Kree from Marvel with shapeshifters.
Yeah.
My cards stunk. So I thought personally, that's probably the main reason why I didn't enjoy it, where you guys were ripping out 4 or 5 power characters, where I was getting one of those maybe every 5 or 10 turns. Like, not a lot. So I like the concept of it. It's a very good concept. And you guys seem to enjoy it, what you guys were doing. I personally just didn't.
I think you had a bad.
I think I had
combo.
I was
yeah.
gonna say I think that because we've played this a few times now, and the game is very dependent on what you think I'm just gonna smash up 2 things, it'll be funny, and then once you because I don't even know what you call it, like deck, right? Every deck has like a signature thing that
A
it
mechanic,
does, right?
yeah.
And so if you have 2 things that don't really go together,
Yeah.
you're kind of sitting there just like.
Yeah, so the idea behind the game is it takes 2 factions of 20 cards and you smash them together to make a deck. So in the base deck, there's like pirates, aliens.
The dragons in the base, or is that
No, that's
okay.
expansion. Like, wow, blanking. Pirates,
Indiana
aliens. No, that's
Ninjas?
expansion. I don't know what the base game has anymore because I've had the game so long. But it's that idea where I had the Avengers and rock stars. You had, like you said,
I had the Kree and the
Kree
Shapeshifters,
and the
which
Shapeshifters.
I took as a Marvel thing with this. Instead of the scrolls, I had the Shapeshifters, and just it was just like, thought it would be cool. Turns out it was a bad combination.
Yeah,
and
Bob
I had dragons and sheep,
Yeah.
and they worked well together.
Yeah, so I think you might have just had a bad combination. So you would take those 2 factions, smash them together, and make a deck of 40, and that's your deck. So with the Avengers and the Rockstars, I had all my cards were worth like 5, and they were all like super powered.
And you had a lot of cool actions that were like on your characters.
Avengers based, like
Mjolnir and Black
beat
Widow
a
would like
character,
manipulate you.
Where I couldn't eliminate any characters that were on the table that were not mine. I had the power ups came from the Marvel
I was gonna say
side.
RP could basically just power his guys
what
up.
was the
shapeshifters thing was that like his cards would have a 0 count, and they would like
Leech off
resemble
of,
the biggest one on the table.
Yeah.
Or he could play the 1 card and then like go back into the deck and find any other thing that had the same value and
Or
put that card
less,
back in the
like-
deck to like use it again.
what
There was nothing that boosted me. The
what
only
was the
one.
Kree's power set, kind of?
So the Kree was one was draw 2 cards. The other one was add +1 for
There's
a
a lot of
turn.
adding
There's a
powers,
lot
yeah.
of +1 for a turn, which does nothing unless you're getting ready to break the base, and it's not even play it when you're breaking the base. It's you have to do it on your turn. So I mean, like it
So
was
should
whatever.
we explain that concept of breaking the guy?
Yeah, so that's the other thing. After you're smashing the 2 packs together, there's bases. It's 1 base extra for each player. So we played a 3-player game. There's 4 bases. Each base has a point value. So if you have, like, the Avengers headquarters is a 21 point base, the amount of minions you play there smashes the base, it's called. So if I play 3 of my characters, Captain America, Hulk, and Iron Man, and they're 5 points each, that's 15 points on that base. And then Bob comes in with like a 2-point sheep, and then RP throws in a 4-point shapeshifter somehow, that base is called broken. It breaks the base, and then on each base is 3 point values. So first player gets whatever the highest, like whatever that number
whoever
is.
has the most there gets the first number.
Yeah.
First, second, third, right? It goes down.
So if the Avengers headquarters is worth 4 points, if you're the highest member, I would get 4 points. RP would get like 3, and then Bob would get 2. And the game goes until you get 15. So it's a lot of math, a lot of text.
It's a lot of just constantly changing. Like a game we've mentioned on this podcast before, Flux. Like Bob had a lot of move things here or do this. Bryan had a lot of remove cards or destroy a card, where mine was just like...
I think you just had a bad deal with the combo. I think if we played it again and you had a different power set...
I've played in the past and had games where I just kind of like was there. You know, like it's one of the things that... especially because Bryan has so many expansions that there's so many options to choose from. So... What did you say? We figured it out while we were playing. So the base deck was how many?
The base game that comes with, I think, 8 factions. There's 64 different combos you can do. So plus
the other 100 that you've bought.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have 4 or 5 more expansions. So I don't even know. I don't know math. But and then there's probably 6 at this point that I haven't bought yet.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of choices, and so you go through and like. RP wanted to have the Marvel character, but he also wanted to use one of like the smash up originals. So instead of just doing 2 Marvel things, he did that, and I think that might have hurt you.
It didn't work.
I
just
used
2 wasn't
smash up originals. Didn't think Dragon and Sheep would go together, but said who cares? Let's try it, and it worked out for me. It was a nice little combination.
So your box was cool. The box that held everything. The way it's set up.
Geeky box.
I have the big geeky box, which was sold to hold all the expansions in the base game. There's an even bigger
holy crap
box because again there's like 6 or 8 expansions at this point that I haven't bought, and they're still pumping them out. I think they just pumped out like a Goblins. Now they're just selling them on their website individually. I don't think they're putting out boxes anymore, but they're pumping out new ones all the time.
Yeah,
and they all have like a different effect and genre. Like I don't like there's like the rock stars that I had were based off of like groupies. Okay. So
what was their skill?
There was a lot of moving.
Okay.
So if I had a rock star like singer at one base, I would play groupies, and they would all almost converge to that base.
You didn't really do that a lot, though.
Yeah, I didn't really get an opportunity to do that. There was also
the sheep were similar, but I took advantage. Like if I moved one sheep, I could take other sheep and follow along.
Yeah, they like kind of ran with each other.
There was you flocked together.
And the Avengers were just powerhouses. Like the Hulk would just get like +2 power. Black Widow would land on a base and she would reduce somebody else. Like Thor could weaken other people.
I think if we played again, I probably would have went with the Sinister Six or one of the other. There's like a Spider-Man thing that is part of the Marvel smash up. I think
would you have gone Marvel if we played a second game?
No, because the Minion cards were cool. Like the design, the idea that it would probably work really well with something else. Just the way that the cards I was dealt just did not fold. They were not powerful. I probably picked 2 low powered.
What's funny about that is the shapeshifters are like overpowered.
The shapeshifters were also very cool looking.
Yeah, so the shapeshifter, when we used to play, when that was like a new faction, they were like overpowered.
Really?
Like whoever picked them almost was guaranteed to win. So I think the Kree
was just a bad combo.
Which is interesting because you might have just a bad combo and end the draw.
If you had done say you'd done shapeshifter and the sheep, or shapeshifter and the
shapeshifter Avengers would have been
shapeshifter and the sheep. I at the end of the game made one of the dragon. I think it was called like a wolf in sheep's clothing or something like that. You could put that on the shapeshifter, and now it resembles the highest thing on the board. You could have moved a 5-point thing all around. You know what I mean? And so
you broke the last base to win the game with an 11-point swing, right?
I just moved.
You moved things. So like Bob had a really good combination.
But all luck. I'd never played with either of them. I don't think. Maybe dragons. I'm just going back in my head. I've played a couple times. I absolutely haven't played with the sheep. Brian's told me in the past the sheep are cool.
The sheep are
But
cool.
at that point, I hadn't really understood the game enough.
Watching them, They were cool. Both
The
of your
sheep are
hands
cool.
were cool. I just had a crappy hand, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, if this was one of the first games we ever played, it would
The
have been rough.
podcast would have been over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been
RP was
episode 1.
RP
That's it.
I don't
RP
like games. I'm done.
RP was visibly disinterested by
were. I mean, I could
about
feel it.
halfway through. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
funny because like the games I've introduced you, I can like see and like kind of feel, and I could tell. I was like, RP's not feeling this game, which is fine.
I was not.
You're
And then there were hands where I was like, "You don't have any characters to play." He's like, "No, I don't."
Yeah,
and
which
like,
is-
which stinks. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
you have two
so-
things you can do every hand.
So I was starting to not give a single crap at all, and then Bob did a defensive move to stop Bryan, but it also helped me win the base, and I was like rejuvenated.
Yeah.
And then I immediately was like, I'm not gonna win.
And-
So I
yeah,
cannot
and
win.
then, like
So-
2 turns later,
so
it was
it
over
was
anyway.
done.
But
so. Would you try this game again?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would rather replay games before trying this again.
Okay.
Because on the level of time that it took, it took about an hour.
Yeah.
And I, like you said,
it felt
I
like an
was.
hour.
It felt long,
Yeah.
and I was very disinterested. Now maybe if I had more complex cards where I had to read a little bit more, but I feel like I kept drawing the same Kree, the same shapeshifter.
That's interesting.
So I don't want to give this a thumbs down for me because I know that you like this game a lot. So
and I get it.
and I
understand.
trust.
Yeah, and I
trust
understand.
you, and I know that I probably just played a bad hand, and I know that Bob
Yep.
likes this game too.
but even then, like you're new to this gaming,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of like moving parts with this where you kind of have to like pay attention.
Yeah,
to a lot. And
I
it just-
understand why you don't initially like this game because you just got a bad draw. I think if you played this again,
Yeah,
I
there's
think you would be
There's a
fine.
good chance. It's just like
I think you did just get because I played this game a lot and I enjoy it, but there has been games where I'm like, this just isn't working.
yeah, I enjoy like the chess aspect of it. Because you got to think about 3 and 4 versus.
But there's
the
also
first 2 steps.
There's also games where like, or there's situations where like I played a card 10 minutes ago and I have to remember what that action was because that's going to come back into
There's
play
a lot.
Which I'm
of
bad.
later
I'm-
on.
A lot.
Which yeah,
I'm bad
is
with
not
that.
not
I'm
your
not
specialty
bad with that.
because like that was
We were playing Flux earlier, and I something in front of me that I completely forgot.
yeah.
So it's definitely that's not my forte. But yeah, I don't know this turn. I'll definitely give it another shot. I would definitely play it again. The game itself is cool. Looking at all the other things like you guys played with, like the sheep didn't necessarily interest me, but now I know. Oh, next time you know what? Maybe
You know
I
what they
will
can
give
do.
it. But then there's like an Indiana Jones kind of thing and a Pirates kind of thing the idea of not playing with that IP, but playing, like in quotes, playing with the IP, like interests me that, there might be something cool down the line. And who knows, the expansion, the concept is good. The execution for me was bad.
Yeah.
And that's tough on a first time playing.
Yeah.
I think I actually talking about the IPs though. I like I didn't use the Marvel faction at all. I like the fake ones, like the playing with
Oh, the parody
IP.
ones.
Yeah, the parody
yeah,
ones.
the parody.
'Cause, like the art on the Marvel ones were cool, but they were they were
Yeah.
to the point because
Yeah.
Marvel was in charge of them. The other ones, like the dragon art, was very like sci-fi, like fantasy type booky, like what you'd expect to see on the cover of a fantasy, like. Whereas the sheep were super cartoony. Like there's a lot of like it ranges a large variety.
And we enjoyed that too, because we were talking about on Forbidden Island, our very first episode, how like there was things that alluded to Pirate Cove and like the desert from Aladdin. Like there's things that allude to, and I enjoy that. I think that's so creative.
Yeah.
But you laughed with the one card I had for the Rockstars, where it was like turn up to
Turned
11.
to 11, which
yeah,
is
turn
from
to
Spinal
11.
Tap.
Yeah.
And
and
then
then
you had an Elvis card that was like a 5, but
Yeah.
it wasn't Elvis.
It was
I
the
forgot what
Monarch.
It was
And then you had the You Shall Not Pass,
Yeah,
but it was
which was-
EWE for
yes.
and it was like a
That-
wizard.
you were a big
so
fan of
that's
that one.
yeah. So Smash Up was good for that. There's a lot of good parody.
Like I
stuff.
said, it's tough. It's you get a bad taste in your mouth. Like we typically play these games 2 or 3 times, but this is a game that's just too long. You play it once and you're good, and you move on to your next game. I just have a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, maybe down the road we'll,
we'll
I
probably
ruined,
turn
I ruined
back
it.
to it.
The 3-person thing. I ruined
No,
it.
it's not.
because
It's
Podcasting is over for all of us
the,
now.
the sweet
blow it
spot
up.
is 3 for this game. Like I think 2 is just
It's too
it's
much.
almost too
easy.
boring.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
I
Two
think
is
four
just too straightforward.
4 is too much.
Yeah.
3's
2
perfect.
would be.
I
like,
think we always
it's
played
too-
3 at the comic book
It's
store.
the,
Me, you, and Duke would usually play that.
I think we
used
tried
be
to
the
play 4 once.
situation.
But down the line, I think maybe we could revisit this on an episode where, hey, we replayed
Yeah.
Smash Up and
Yeah, I
those are
definitely
my
want you to
thoughts.
play again.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because this is one I enjoy, and I think you just got it bad.
So would you recommend this game?
I would recommend the Marvel, either the base game or the Marvel expansion that just came out, which is a base by itself.
Okay.
If you're interested, I think the expansions add a lot.
Okay.
So is that part of the element today? Like Dragons, you said it was an
So
expansion.
Dragons
Sheep
was an expansion, Sheep expansion,
Rockstars is an expansion.
yes, and the Changelings. So we played pretty
So we
much
played
all
all
of the
expansions.
expansions.
We didn't play
but
anything base.
The Marvel ones are basic in their own way. Where I
Okay.
think like if you're
Yeah, because RP is playing a guy, and it's like add 2 to
Yeah,
that person.
it's
Not
not-
like move this guy here, and
Yeah.
then this other guy can move with him, and then this can happen.
yeah,
and
the
all these other
Marvel
things can
base
happen.
game isn't overly complicated. The base game isn't overly complicated. I recommend buying those, and then if you like those, yeah, move on to buy the expansions. But I think the base game by itself with the 64 combinations
That's yes,
is
enough.
is enough. I think it's absolutely playable. But at the time when Bob and I were playing this at the shop a lot, we were playing it a lot. So
Yeah.
the expansions were like fun, and it was just added something different.
What about you, Bob?
I think I've only ever played with the expansions, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yeah.
like, I've never played a purely base version of this game. So, for that reason, I don't know what the base game is like.
Yeah,
I would
you
recommend
played
it.
enough.
I would recommend it to people who are like used to games where there's a lot of like things going on. Like you said, like you forget and things like that. So maybe with the base, it wouldn't be that complicated, and that's a lot easier. But like, I remember the first time I played this, every other turn I was showing Bryan my hand. Like,
Yeah.
hey, what am I doing with this?
And I
don't
also
understand.
think usually I start people with the
And
base.
he would, and
think that's a
I would,
mistake,
I remember,
once again, we
yeah,
made with you.
I think I remember me saying I wanted to pick a certain thing, and you saying like you're not playing with that yet. Like that's too. I think that might have been the sheep. Like it's gonna be too much for you. With
It's
the
probably
sheep
the
just
ghost.
there. No, I remember you and Duke saying like I don't think I've ever played with the ghost.
People always want to play with the ghosts, and they are the most complicated.
So
Like still, as long as I've been playing this game, I've never played with the ghosts.
Oh, I'm not afraid of no ghosts.
well, there we go.
I've never even seen Ghostbusters.
Nope, I never have.
You have it?
Nope.
What?
Right?
Did that happen on this podcast or the
No,
other one?
this is
No,
our,
this
a
has
life.
definitely come up before.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I think he brought
Here
up.
it
Then
is.
how do
Okay,
you
here it
how do
is.
you even know if you're not afraid of no ghosts?
Yeah.
I just know.
You've never even seen no ghosts.
Oh, I never said I was authentic. I'm a fraud. I might have to download it and I'll just watch it at some point.
Gotta be on
Watch it
something,
tonight.
right?
We'll snuggle.
No, I would recommend it. I guess the base game obviously start there,
Yeah.
but I do enjoy it.
Were you tapped out after after our round?
Yeah. Would you play again?
Today?
Yeah.
I would have. I mean I'm in a like I'm here to game today. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. So
I don't even know if I would.
I kind
play
of go for it.
again.
It's
Like,
it's rare though when we get to like if when you and I get that we play the same thing twice.
I'll be honest too. I'm a little hungry, so I'm a little drained.
hangry.
I'm a little hangry. So
hangry.
that definitely hit me mid game where I got a little hungry and I was like definitely over the game. But no, I think I want to play it again. But I'm alright not playing
Down the
it
road,
today.
we'll talk about it. Yeah.
So into our final segment.
Into our final segment with an extra person. This will be interesting.
Yeah, this will be interesting. So
All right. Cue the music. This is our super fight. How we end our show, Bob. We don't just say goodbye because I don't like just saying goodbye. So
not like we do on previously recorded.
yeah, we end it with a fight.
Started end credit scenes,
Yeah.
which is fun.
Yeah. So this is a game called Super Fight. It's a card game, just like a debate type game where you draw two people or creatures or something, and then you draw two more cards, which are their like either weaknesses or powers,
strengths,
or
right?
strengths. Yeah. And then you
I
kind of
have-
just debate.
I have seen this on the Instagram. I just have never gotten
There you go.
involved.
Follow
in
the
it.
Instagram, Gateway Gamers Pod. All right, so we have Chuck Norris versus Blob.
From X-Men?
I don't know. It could be. So it could be the Blob from X-Men or just
Or
the
the
gelatinous
Blob.
blob.
Just a blob.
Yeah, so I think in the rule set it says you can kind of pick anything because Jason's one of them, and it says you could pick Jason Bourne, Jason Voorhees, like
Yeah,
it's
pick,
just
like, just a
or
guy-
your friend Jason.
Just a guy named Jason. Yeah, just that guy Jason that I knew.
All right, so Chuck Norris has tiny T-Rex arms,
Ooh, that's gonna hurt him.
but A mustache that can stretch and move at will. The blob is armed with a barbed wire net, hence riding a hoverboard.
So, armed with a barbed wire net, does that mean like he has the net on him, or he?
No, he's
in his
armed
hand?
like he
that,
has
like,
a
to
net.
use.
Yeah,
And how big is this net? You're the rule
I
keeper.
don't know. I think it's just
Because the blob can be big or small.
yeah, it's whatever your imagination. And he's also riding a hoverboard. Who's winning?
I have any questions I have,
You can ask.
do I direct to you? Like, are you going to be?
We just throw it out.
Are you going to be the gatekeeper? So how strong is his mustache?
Mustache can stretch and move at will.
But it doesn't mean that it's powerful. Like,
Well,
you
that's
know
part
what
of the
I mean?
debate.
Like,
That's part of the debate.
Yeah,
you
it
gotta-
can't. Like, could
Could it lift a hammer? Or
exactly.
could it lift, a
anything?
building?
Or is it just like? Is it just there? Is it just? I mean,
So I would think the mustache would be used as like a coat of like a straight jacket where it could wrap you up. It might not, and it's strong.
but how is it strong enough?
Think
to
of
do
like
that?
the
Strong as
magic
hair.
carpet.
Hair's strong though.
Yeah, hair is strong. Like a magic carpet can do a lot, and that's probably
in Aladdin. Yes.
yes. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, when you say
What other
a
magic carpet do you
when you
need?
say a magic carpet, you
I
mean
mean,
the magic
That's
carpet.
the only.
I'm going with Chuck Norris.
That's why I'm leaning.
Just because it's Chuck Norris.
I'm leaning Chuck Norris because obviously he's going to make the most of what he
and-
has.
He can still kick.
It's true.
Which is
and
his
also,
big thing.
Yeah.
Just because he has T-Rex arms doesn't mean he doesn't have arms at all.
And it's Chuck Norris.
He just has to get
He's the
within-
strongest thing in
He
the
just has to
universe.
get within close quarters
Yeah.
to the blob.
So
Also, how do you hurt the blob regardless?
I'm arguing for the blob.
What blob are you?
I'm talking about a big green blob. Maybe Bob the Blob.
Gelatinous
From-
blob.
Monsters vs. Aliens.
Okay.
Maybe he's blue.
Yeah.
I like a green blob. Maybe like Flubber green blob.
Just a big
Okay.
flubber blob.
Yeah, just walking
But
down
like
the street
with,
like
with,
Jello.
with a mind of its own.
Yeah,
And
he's gonna
it's
suck up.
carrying and barbed wire.
So does it
net.
have arms to throw
Yes.
said barbed wire net?
I would like my blob to have arms. So
Okay.
he has to have arms to hold the net, or it's just in his side. But he can
He
control
can
it.
shoot it out.
He can shoot it
It's
out.
it's in the blob, but
So
he
this-
can fire it
This is
away.
what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Chuck Norris is gonna try and kick it and not punch him. That foot's gonna get stuck in the blob. Blob's just gonna roll him over. He's gonna be inside the blob. The blob can control at will. What comes in, what comes out. You're done. You're done. So, or if he wants to scoop him up in this armed barbed wire net, I don't really see T-Rex arms being able to crawl out of that.
All right. Here's my counterpoint.
The hoverboard didn't even come into play there. Also,
There's
how
always
does a,
something that doesn't
how does a blob how does a blob ride a hoverboard? Are we just canceling that out?
No,
No,
it's
it's just
there.
faster. But in his scenario, he doesn't need it.
How
Like,
big is the blob? Does the blob fit on the hoverboard? Is the hoverboard?
You're asking a lot of questions.
I'm a big question guy. Is the hoverboard actually impeding the blob?
So
at
I
that
would like
point?
to think that riding the hoverboard is his escape vehicle for when he does whatever he needs to do and he can fly off.
I would imagine the hoverboard is the hoverboard from Back to
The
Future.
Future.
That's obviously we
So
all knew
it's-
which hoverboard it was.
So it's as big as the hoverboard to ride the hoverboard.
But does the
it's
blob
small.
has legs?
So it's just on there. So my counter argument is Chuck Norris at the end.
That's it because it's Chuck Norris.
It's Chuck Norris.
That's a valid-
I'm going by
that's a valid point. Yeah.
meme Chuck Norris.
All right,
never-
so I'm out 2-1. But
I've never talked about. I've never seen any memes about all the things that blobs have done. But I've seen a lot about Chuck Norris.
typically we come to an agreement at the end of these episodes. But the
I
fact,
haven't made up my mind yet.
no, you haven't. The fact that Chuck Norris is your leading argument is, in fact, a strong leading argument.
Mustache
But I may-
doesn't matter. He doesn't
I
even need
may
arms.
defer to the audience to decide this for the podcast.
Well, my question is, how does one of these things, and by one of these things I mean the blob, get defeated? Can you hurt a blob?
I think you can set a blob on fire.
You freeze it.
Freeze
That's how
it.
Yeah, they froze it in
Well, you
one
better
of the
just hope
movies.
it's not
What would
December.
happen if Chuck Norris was to use his crazy mustache to split the blob in half? Would
Then
that
it'd be
become two
two
blobs? It doesn't destroy the blob.
All right, so Chuck
just
Norris
keep
runs so fast in a circle that it freezes. Creates a whirlwind
be
to
heat.
freeze.
Be heat.
It creates a whirlwind.
It gets so hot that it's cold.
I
mean,
feel
Chuck
like
Norris,
the blob's leading. The blob's taking the lead now.
I think Chuck Norris kicks the blob so hard he flies into space. Every meme I've
See-
ever read is Chuck
see,
Norris is amazing.
Okay, if you would have let off with that, this conversation would have been over.
Yeah.
But you did it.
And then
you
he
waited
uses-
around.
Like
the
he
blob,
T-Rex
no, the
arms.
blob's in space now. It's cold
It's
in
freeze.
space. The
It's-
blob
it's
freezes.
dead.
It's the end.
Yeah, you're right. There's no questions here.
Son of a
Chuck
gun.
Norris.
Son of a gun.
I could pull every card out of this box.
Chuck Norris
and
is
just
gonna
have
win.
Chuck Norris. He's the wild card.
I can't argue that this one. All right.
R.I.P. Blob. You know?
But fans and audience, if you want to leave us a rating with 5 stars, tell us who won.
Yeah.
Or comment on the Instagram.
Go on iTunes, 5 stars, and just write Chuck Norris, and we'll know you're there.
But I think that does it. I will agree with you. If Chuck Norris kicks him in the Blob into space.
You'll have to put on previous recorded, too.
But I also am curious about if the Chuck Norris kicks the Blob, like you said, does his foot just go into the Blob?
Okay, how about this? Chuck Norris absorbs the Blob.
Here's what I was thinking. Chuck Norris allows the Blob to like engulf him, and then Chuck Norris destroys the Blob from the inside out.
Or
from the inside out, he destroys.
But then
the
if he
Blob.
sucks him, then the Blob,
like a Hercules Hydra situation.
If he sucks him in, the Blob will just take over Chuck Norris.
No, you can't.
His
mind's stronger than his body.
What do you mean you can't?
I would
you don't know. I know.
Look up Chuck Norris on your phone.
I would rather Chuck Norris.
There's so much research.
Use his muscular legs to let the Blob absorb him with his feet still on the ground and jump to space.
All right. I think even with the T-Rex arms, he has enough force to punch. What was
and Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee worked together. What was the Bruce Lee, the 1 inch?
The 1 inch punch.
1 inch punch, yeah.
Yeah, so he taught.
He doesn't need a lot of space.
Yeah. He punches
with
such force.
You're losing me.
That he splatters into
You had me with space. You had me with the kick to space.
You've never seen the 1 inch punch?
No, I know it. I know what that is. I've seen that somewhere.
So he doesn't. I'm just saying, with T-Rex arms, he doesn't need his arms to be long.
Well, it doesn't matter. 2 beats 1. We'll see what the audience has to say.
I think that you love Chuck Norris too secretly.
I do. The dodgeball is the best thing ever because of Chuck Norris.
Yeah, you were just rooting for an underdog there. It was a 16 versus a 1 seed.
I got it. It's not 1-on-1. It's 2-on-1 here. I gotta keep it going. But yeah, Bob, thanks for joining us for the podcast.
Guys.
One of many.
Anything to plug before you go?
No, not really right now. I don't know if I have anything. There's podcasts that I don't listen to. But there's one I talk on that's previously recorded. So
I've heard of that.
Obviously, check that out. But other than that, no, it's a very slow time in my life right now. Invincible on Amazon was good. Mm-hmm. It's over now. Bad Batch on Disney Plus, solid. Cool. If you're a Star Wars person. But that's pretty much all I'm watching right now. Nice. It's still just anybody who listens to previously recorded still slugging my way through The Sopranos.
There you go. All right, I guess remember to rate, like, and subscribe. Catch us on the Instagram at Gateway Gamers. And like I said, leave us a review, 5 stars, and just if you want to trash us. If you want us to change something, put it there.
If you don't ever want me back, just let us know. 5 stars. 5 stars.
Chuck Norris, 5 stars. We know you're listening.
5 stars. Bob's it's fine as well.
All right, thanks for listening.
Thank you.
How I know you go on. One more time. No, I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging on the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I'm a genie in a bottle. You gotta love me the way. It's my life, it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever. I just wanna live while I'm alive. I'm Mr. Brightside. We're meant to be together. I'll be there and you'll be near, and that's the deal, my dear. I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the only one, and I walk alone. When you left, I lost a part of me. It's still so hard to believe. Come back, baby, please, 'cause we belong together. You should let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything. You're beautiful. On and need. Said I'm so sick of love songs, so tired of tears, so done with wishing you were still here. Said I'm so sick of love songs, so sad and slow. Why can't I turn off the radio? Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? right.
to the left.
You're 1,000 miles
You're
away, girl.
irreplaceable.
Tonight you look so pretty.
I said
yes,
it's
you do.
too late to apologize. Touch my body, throw me on the floor, wrestle me around, play with me some more.
Just
Touch my
wanna
body,
stand
throw me on the
there,
bed.
hear
I
me
just wanna
cry.
make you feel like you never
That's
did.
alright, because I love the way you lie.
You know I'd catch a grenade for
California girls
ya.
were unforgettable days. They do bikinis on
I'm
top.
on the right track, baby. I was born this way.
Your diamond,
Now you're just somebody that I used to
shine bright,
know.
your diamond. But here's my number, so call me maybe.
I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
'Cause I'm happy.
I'm alive. What do
'Cause
you
I'm happy.
mean? I'm alive.
'Cause I'm happy. Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too?
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Friday night and I won't be long. Gotta do my hair, put my makeup on. It's Friday night and I won't be long.
Love me like you do. Love me like you do. Honey, it's not difícil. ¿Qué would you think? Despacito, puedo respirar tu cuello despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído. Espera que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo.
So won't you ride with me, see where this thing goes. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, if it's meant to be. Havana,
I love the shape of you.
half of my heart is in
Just like
Havana.
nicotine, heroin, morphine. Suddenly I'm feeling all I need, all I need.
Why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle?